Captain, where's that
Can you call them? Too many, I reckon.
Hello fellow fly simmers, my name's Darbsy and this is a very basic instructional video on how to navigate on IL-2 Stormvic without GPS being enabled. The reason why I'm making this video is to encourage new players to play on advanced servers such as Tactical Air War that require a basic understanding of aerial navigation. Navigation can be a complex subject, so I emphasise that this video is for beginners only and there won't be anything on here that experienced players don't already know. As such, I'll assume that the effects of wind are excluded, which means that your planned track will equal your heading. And I'm also going to assume that you already know how to fly an aeroplane. The aircraft I'll be using in this video is the PE-2. Topics covered will include basic map reading, an overview of the IL-2 mission planner. We'll then plan and execute a simple mission with some basic navigation work cycles demonstrated. Please note that the techniques demoed in this video are simply my opinion, and as already stated, this video is purely to teach new players who may not have any previous experience navigating on the ground or in the air how to find their way around the IL-2 Stormvic maps and hopefully therefore enhance their gaming experience. Okay, basic map reading. The maps in IL-2 Stormvic are actually extremely high quality and easy to read. They're conventionally laid out, so north is always facing up on the map. Each of the squares are 10 kilometers wide, so this will come in handy for estimating your distances. For those of you who don't already know, north is always 360, south is always 180, west 270, and east 090. Some tools I like to have at hand when I'm navigating are as follows. Stopwatch. Personally, I like my iPhone stopwatch, a pen, a piece of paper, and last but not least, the IL-2 mission planning app, which we'll get into shortly. So here's an overview of the IL-2 mission planner. As you can see, it's got the maps from the game in it. I've left a link below this video for those of you who want to use it. It was designed by Curious Gambler, and he makes it available for free for anyone to use. It's very intuitive to use. You can just click and drag around on the map or zoom in and out. So we're on the Stalingrad map, but you can also bring up the Battle of Moscow map too. Just leave it on the Stalingrad map for now. It's very detailed. There's no contour lines and it's divided into grids. So the cool thing about it is you can just click on the aircraft icon and then click and drag around on the map to any points you like, and it will give you your distance, time, and heading information. You can put in whichever speed you like. So I like to fly the IL-2, which generally cruises at about 360 kilometers an hour, so that's what I've used. And as you can see, it spits out the information there that you need for your navigation. So over on the left here, there's some other features you can play around with. You can also stream your flight plan to other players in your squad. We'll come back and revisit the IL-2 mission planner shortly when we fly a basic combat mission on the Tactical Air War server. Basic navigation concepts and work cycles. A work cycle is just a procedure you do at a certain point in the navigation exercise. The first work cycle is starting a navigation leg work cycle. You do this at the start of the nav or as you turn over a waypoint. That was TTSN. So T stands for turn onto your heading. Second T stands for time or start your clock. S is self-brief. How long is the leg? What will I see? Are there any obstacles? And the N is the next event. Is it a turn point? Are you heading to the target? And you want to start looking for your waypoint or target approximately 1 minute out. So that's where the clock comes in handy. The next work cycle is your approaching a turn point work cycle, which is IRN. The I stands for ID the next turn point and fly to it. R stands for reset your clock so it's ready for the next leg. N is next heading. So just self-brief what your next heading is so you know which way to turn over the waypoint or the target. The next thing we'll briefly touch on is the relationship between time, speed, and distance. This is important for estimating your position. Your elapsed time multiplied by the kilometres per minute you're travelling at equals your total distance travelled. So divide your indicated airspeed by 60 and it will give you the kilometres travelled in 1 minute. For example, the PE2 travels at 360 kilometres an hour, so 360 divided by 60 equals 6, or 6 kilometres per minute travelled. A slower aircraft like a Stuka at 260 kilometres an hour divided by 60 equals 4 plus change, or 4 kilometres per minute. This works for any aircraft. Simply divide the indicated airspeed by 60 and it will give you an accurate figure for how many kilometres per minute you're travelling at. So for example, if I've been travelling for 2 minutes on a navigation leg, I know that I've travelled 12 kilometres. This enables you to estimate your position on a nav leg fairly accurately. So let's go and fly a mission on Tactical Air War, and I'll demonstrate the 2 work cycles that we've been discussing. So I'm going to fly a low-level bombing mission from Karpovka, and I'm going to fly to Kalak Aerodrome and bomb it. I'm going to use this little town of Ielka as my initial point before I hit the airfield of Kalak from the south. Obviously, I could easily fly this mission without using the mission planner, but I just want to demonstrate how to use it. So it's going to be Karpovka to Ielka, up to Kalak, and then hopefully make it back home in one piece. So here's what the mission looks like on the mission planner. Very straightforward. You can see that I've got my heading and distances and times for each leg. What I actually go and do is I write it down on a piece of paper because I don't like accessing the mission planner during the game. I just like using the in-game map. So that's what it looks like on my piece of paper. So as you can see, I've just got each waypoint, the heading and the time. Okay, so here we are on the Tactical Air War server. I've just set up the aeroplane. Very short flight, less than 15 minutes, so 36% fuel is more than enough. Take 2 500 kilo bombs, the ballistic turret, squadron skin, and start into the game. So once in the game, just go through your normal startup procedure. What else I like to do is to bring up the in-game map, because this is what I'll use for flying, and just self-brief the route. So particularly the first heading. The first heading is going to be 249 for 4 minutes and 59 seconds. Then we're going to go up 351 to Kalak, and the final leg's a heading of 086. So the startup procedure is done, and now we'll take off and set course overhead the airfield. Setting course overhead the airfield ensures that your first leg will be as accurate as possible. So as you can hear, the airfield's actually come under attack during my takeoff, and I'm just going to ignore that. I'm going to make a left-hand turn and come back around overhead the field to set my first heading for the first leg of the navigation. There's the left-hand turn. I've just chosen that direction because it's easy for the direction I'm flying in. You can see the flat going off ahead of me. But I'm getting ready to do my starting and nav leg work cycle, which is turn, time, self-brief, and then next event, TSN. See here, I'm directly overhead the field. I'm rolling out onto my heading. Sorry you can't see the compass right now. But setting my heading of 249. So that's turn, heading 249, time, the clock is away, self-brief. I know this nav leg's 4 minutes 59 seconds. We're keeping the river on my left. In about 2 minutes I'm going to fly to the south of the airfield. So my next event is actually going to be seeing the airfield, and I'll confirm my position. So from here I'm waiting for my clock to say 2 minutes. Keeping a good lookout for enemy aircraft. My clock says 2 minutes now, which means I've gone 12 kilometres, so I've got the airfield off to my right, and the river of course is still off to my left, and I'm just going to confirm my position on the map. So there I am there, and then I'll leave the cursor there to track my progress, and from here continue on my nav leg. So I'm on track and I'm on time. next event is at 3 minutes 59 seconds, or a minute from the turn point. I'm going to try and identify the turn point, and we can do our approaching turn point work cycle. My clock now says it's 3 minutes 59, so I must be roughly 6 kilometres from the turn point, so pulling out my map, must be in roughly that position there. The turn point should be dead ahead, slightly to the right of the river, because it's to the north of the river. Just having a good look now for it. I think I've identified it over there. It's hard to see in the trees, but it's on track, it's on time, it looks like it's in the right spot. Comparison with the river. So I'm going to do my approaching the turn point work cycle. So I've ID'd the turn point, I'm now turning towards it, resetting my clock, ready for the next leg, and self-briefing the next heading, which is going to be 351 to run into the target. So the next thing I'm going to do is accurately turn over the turn point, which I'm doing here, and I'm going to do my starting and nav leg work cycle, which is turn onto the heading of 351 or thereabouts. Time, I've now started my clock. Self-brief, okay, well this is the run into the target. It's a very short leg of only a minute 44. And the next event is hopefully going to be bombing the crap out of a target. With a gross error check there, I've got the river off to my left, so I know that I'm heading in the right general direction. And there's the target. So just because it's the target doesn't change what I do. Still do the approaching the turn point work cycle. So I for ID the target, or the turn point in this case, fly towards it, so I'm going to bomb it. R, reset the clock, ready for the next leg, and N is the next heading, which is going to be the heading home on 086. So hopefully I'll live that long and make it. So now I'm just going to concentrate on bombing the target. I don't recommend attacking airfield solo, but I just needed to do it to make this video. And here comes the Luftwaffe right on schedule. Taking hits there, but bombs away. Starting a nav leg work cycle is turn, so I'm going to turn onto my heading of 086 or thereabouts. Time, start the clock. S, self-brief. Okay, this is the leg home to my home airfield. Should be 4 minutes 32. Okay, I'm getting attacked by a 109, so I'm going to jink around. Doesn't change what I'm doing though. I'm still flying roughly 086, which is my heading home. And I've still got my clock going. Obviously in the PET you've also got an RPK that will assist as well once it's within range. But hopefully the next event for me is landing. You can see the 109 there shooting the crap out of me. I was actually lucky enough here that my gunner managed to kill him, so I was able to finish the video after all. And got an air-to-air kill. But for me now, the next event is getting home, so about a minute out from home, 3 minutes 32. I'm going to start looking for home base, and there it is. Straight in approach because I'm badly shot up. Using the air brakes to land. And safely touch down. I wanted to keep the video under 15 minutes, so this was a fairly short flight, but the nav techniques demonstrated will serve you well on long-range flights also. I've generally found the effects of wind to be fairly negligible, provided you hold an accurate heading and keep an accurate time. This basically concludes the video. I apologise if it was a bit rushed or confusing, but I hope it's given you players an idea of how to navigate. The key points to remember is to be disciplined with holding your headings and watching the time on each leg. A few minutes spent planning as well on Curious Gambler's flight planning app will make your life a lot easier once you're in the game. Thanks for watching. If you found this helpful, please leave a message for me and I'll look at posting a more advanced video on navigation in the future. Cheers and fly safe.